Howdy, Christina.
Hi.
How doing?
Doing.
Back
How are
in
you?
the studio for the first time in, it's been a week, 3-4 weeks.
There you go.
4, 5, so many.
Many a week.
We so much has happened. And so little at the same. You traveled. I lived at home.
Yeah.
But we're here. We're here. It's Cryptid month.
Yeah.
Are you excited for Cryptid month?
Yeah, sure. Like, I'm sorry.
You're selling it, really.
Cryptids, either you like them and you really like them, or you're just like, yeah, they're there. It's fine.
I learned some kind of interesting stuff. We're going to start with mine because I got some background, and then we'll see you next week for yours.
Great.
But for this month's watering hole for me, I did Cryptids and Tourism.
Beautiful.
So a little background on cryptids. The study of cryptids is called cryptozoology, which falls under the umbrella of pseudoscience, or, quote, science, end quote, that claims to be factual but doesn't fall under the scientific method and doesn't follow any of the scientific principles of the scientific method.
So then not science.
Pseudoscience.
Cool. Great.
Other types of pseudoscience that include but are not limited to creationalism, like the belief in God.
Okay.
Astrology, anti-vaccine activism, homeopathy, climate change denialism, and Holocaust denialism.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Some of them, like cryptids and like astrology and stuff, seem all like fun, haha, hee hee, and then we get into, and like creationalism's like kind of in the middle where either it can get weird or it's really normal. There's not, like, it depends on who you're talking to. And then you get into like climate change denialism and Holocaust denialism, and you're like, whoa.
Right.
Why is this in the same category?
There was edging the line before, and then there was just
falling right over it.
Superman all the way over there.
And I was reading that, and I was like, oh no.
Like out loud?
Yeah. I literally was like, oh god. You know, it's like when you like a band, but then you find out they run in circles with other bands who are like garbage people, and you're like, oh no.
That's
you know,
oh no.
You just find out something wasn't quite what it had seemed. Anyway, there are 4 categories that cryptids fall into.
Okay.
We have the aquatic or semi-aquatic, which is category 1, which you might know. Here's a few honorable mentions. Champy, the lake monster from Lake Champlain in North America.
Okay.
The Loch Ness monster from Loch Ness, Scotland.
Right, that's probably the more popular one.
Or the Loveland frog from Loveland, Ohio. Have you seen him? He's hilarious.
No.
Number 2, we have the terrestrial, which is like El Chupacabra from South and Central America, and the Dover demon from Dover, Massachusetts.
Not a common one, but sure.
And then we've got hominin, or wild man for short, which is
Could you imagine you're dating somebody and you're like, oh, so you're a hominid. You're wild.
Gross.
I fucking broke her. Oh, good.
I wasn't ready for that.
For what? 4 minutes in.
Not even. We get the hominin. Homina.
Homina.
Bigfoot from North America. The extraterrestrial, which is like the alien that's commonly linked with UFO sightings. So, you know, like the little gray men. Or a crypto extraterrestrial.
Big head gives you the peace sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The skunk ape from Florida. And the yeti from the Himalayas. I need to ask Jake, while he's been in Florida doing all his hiking, if he's run into a skunk ape yet. He's really, really afraid of, like, the people that live in the woods and also, like, the gators. But maybe he should be afraid of the skunk ape.
I mean, I guess you get a lot to be afraid of down there.
Right.
So why not add a thing that may or may not exist?
Part 4 is, or like category 4 is flying creatures. So like the Jersey Devil from New Jersey, Mothman from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and the Thunderbird from North America, which is popular in First Nations mythology.
Neat.
Great. So this kind of raises the question, why did cryptids become so popular? Cryptids have fascinated and terrified people all around the world for centuries. However, there are a handful that have really captured the public attention, like the Loch Ness Monster from Scotland. That's probably like the oldest one.
Yeah.
That even if you don't know what a cryptid is, you know what the Loch Ness Monster is.
Yeah. Or you know what Bigfoot is, or you know what Chupacabra is.
Yeah. The 4 big ones that I found in my research that people all over the world know of, the Loch Ness Monster is like the big one from the UK, England, like that part of the world. Mm-hmm. The Yowie from Australia. The Yeti from Asia and the Himalayas, and then Bigfoot from the USA. Those are like the really big ones.
I've never even heard of the Yowie. Sounds like some older man stubbing his toe.
Yowie!
Yeah, that's it.
But one thing's for sure, where there is cryptids, there is money.
Where there may be cryptids.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to say that.
But yes, you're correct. There's so much money to be made.
So much. Cryptids are studied and searched for all over the world, leading to everything from movies and podcasts to full-blown tours and festivals. A Nat Geo article found that just before COVID-19, a Scottish company spent $3 million on a new visitor center that linked back to the Loch Ness Monster.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
Can you imagine? Okay, so the Loch Ness Monster, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being like, oh, all the Loch Ness Monster deniers are like, oh, it's a stick, right? So what if, so like, let's play on that for a minute. It's a stick, right?
Yeah.
And Scotland spent $3 million on a tourist center for people to come and search for a stick. Can you?
It's not normally the kind of wood that brings in that kind of money.
Exactly. And it was just before COVID, so can you imagine spending $3 million on a visitor center just for COVID to happen, and now you're stuck with an unvisited center?
Fucking yikes. Oh, like, we could laugh, because, like...
It wasn't our...
Yeah, we didn't fuck up, but oh my god.
I'm laughing because if I was in Scotland and I was there, I would totally be going.
Of course you would, though.
Yeah.
But, like, that's if you're visiting. If you live there, you're like, oh, fucking Loch Ness Monster site.
Yeah, from what I found, the Loch Ness Monster people, either you're for it or you're against it. But I found that kind of with a lot of my research is people who live in these areas are either all for it.
Yeah.
And are all gung-ho about whatever cryptid is near, or they're like, that's so fucking stupid, get that shit out here.
Right, yeah, there's no middle ground. Generally.
Which I find kind of funny, because if there's anything to have a middle ground on, wouldn't it be a thing that's, like, maybe a thing? It's like, it's bringing in good money for your community, so why not let it,
I don't know, because, I mean, like, there's also... Some people argue religion is a one of those things as well, where, like, it's belief, so maybe it's real, maybe it's not. Mm-hmm. That brings in a shitload of money, too.
Oh, so much money. It brings in more money than cryptids ever will.
Yeah, and it's very divisive, too. Mm-hmm. So I view it kind of like that, where cryptids are kind of in the same category in that sense.
Bigfoot's never going to tell me I was a bad person, though.
Fair. I don't think Mothman is going to tell you that you're going to burst into flames because you...
Right? I did a sin!
Right.
I did a sin. Mothman's like, get the fuck out of here.
And then you turn around to look at him, and then you see his butt with the coins in it.
Yes. So back to the Loch Ness Monster.
Sorry.
No, you're totally good. The Loch Ness Monster was first sighted roughly 1,400 years ago and was a suspected monster, and the suspected monster is still bringing in tourism to Scotland today. The first recorded writing for Nessie, the nickname for the Loch Ness Monster, is dated back to 565 AD by an Irish missionary.
Dang.
And so it's a missionary, which makes me laugh because it's back on the God train.
Right.
Then in 1934, the first suspected photo of the monster was taken, and soon after that, the tours of the lake began. There's also a website specifically for logging sightings of the monster, and it has 1,158 logged sightings of the Loch Ness Monster as of the 15th of October, 2024. I checked. I got on and I looked.
Oh, hold on, so how many?
A little over 1,100.
Oh, good. Okay, cool.
And this website is like you remember, I don't know if you're too old, but did you ever have to build websites in school to like learn the fundamentals of building a website?
Barely. It was not necessarily that I was too old. It was that my school was too poor.
Okay.
And they didn't have the right, accommodations to do stuff like that. Or there was very little interest.
Okay.
So all the money that they would have spent on it was utilized for things that people were actually interested in the area.
Okay, fair enough. So you know what a website looks like when it's like, you can tell it's made by like a man that doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's like so sketchy looking.
Yeah, like I was around when some of the first websites were in their
Prime.
I don't know, when I'm doing day.
Yeah.
So
it
I've
looks
seen
like
those.
that.
Oh, good.
It looks exactly like that. Nessie has brought roughly $47 million in tourism as of 2019.
Damn.
From when they started tours back in the 30s of the lake.
47
million.
million with an M. Cool. Gross.
Yeah. So, while Nessie has become sort of a gimmick or kind of kitschy, the Yowie is based in the lore of the Australian Aboriginal people. The Yowie is seen as the guardian angel of the landscape, but is also reported to be very dangerous. First seen in the 1830s by a European man who was hunting in Australia, now tours are being led into the wilderness of Australia up and down the coast in order to try and sight the Yowie. This tour became popular in the last 10 years with the cryptid boom.
Wait, so hold on. There's a cryptid boom?
There's...
Like currently, or?
There kind of was. I didn't get fully into my research. There's this whole long scientific paper about there being a cryptid boom, and if it wasn't for the girls, the gays, and the theys, the cryptid boom wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
So it links back to LGBTQ identity and like the... I didn't get really far into it. It was really, really interesting, but I thought it would like diverge too far from my current topic, so I didn't look too far into it.
Okay.
But yes, when things like Tumblr started coming around and getting large, and then Pinterest and those sort of apps and websites, the LGBTQIA community really latched on to cryptids.
Really?
And there was kind of a boom of popularity of telling these folk tales or these, stories of cryptids.
I did not know that cryptid, fan base and lore was so heavy in the LGBTQ.
So many gay
Lettuce,
people
bacon,
love a
tomato
Bigfoot.
sandwiches.
Lettuce,
What? Listen, I could say every single letter correctly the first time, but then I wouldn't be me.
That's fair. I could be out here saying the queer community, but I know somebody's going to get mad at me for saying that, even though I am a part of the queer community.
Right, exactly.
Somebody's going to get mad.
They're BLT sandwiches now.
Yes. Speaking of BLT sandwiches, Bigfoot.
Hold on. BLT sandwiches, so Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, and...
the Jersey Devil.
Is that a T?
Or... I guess we could do, like Thunderbird, I guess.
There you go.
That's like a less popular one.
There you go.
With Bigfoot, as there have been sightings of him all around North America, tourism is more prevalent. So focusing in on Colorado, because that's where I grew up, and I've been to these towns. Oh my God. So in Colorado, Jim Myers, this man, has created an entire business out of the search for Bigfoot. And so if you are a Bigfoot researcher or an aficionado or whatever, you know of Jim Myers at least a little bit.
Okay.
So he was a name I knew growing up.
Oh.
So he has a 3-day camping expedition that goes for $650 a person, but it's all inclusive. So you don't have to bring gear or food or anything. $650 and he'll do it all. And then you go and search for Bigfoot.
All inclusive as in he lets you use his sleeping bag?
As in he has a whole business. Yes.
Okay.
You can do the same thing, but on horseback for $1,400 a person. Or there's a singular night hike where you go out into the woods at night for one night, just do a hike, and it's $125 per person. And all of them are like 18 years or older searching for Bigfoot.
Watch, he has no interest in actually looking for Bigfoot.
Fuck no.
He just wants to go camping with a bunch of people.
He wants to go camping and nobody wants to go camping. Poor Jim. The National Paranormal Network hosts the annual Bigfoot Adventure Weekends in Colorado to gather curious folks to go out and search for the elusive Bigfoot. The crazy thing itself, though, is that Colorado doesn't track the financial impact of Bigfoot tourism.
Boy, I wonder why.
The sad thing is it's hundreds of thousands of dollars and they don't track it because it's all goes to each individual town. So they're just, Colorado's happy that these little towns are being taken care of. They don't really care how it affects their tourism as a state.
Okay.
Some folks not even willing to comment on the topic of like Bigfoot and everything. Kevin McDonald, however, who is the event coordinator for Estes Park, spoke to the Denver Post about it. And Estes Park hosts the Bigfoot Festival, and they have been hosting it in the Rocky Mountain National Park since 2019, and it brings roughly 5,000 visitors per year.
Oh, I had no idea. I've been to Estes Park, I don't know how many times.
Right?
Like
I love Estes Park. But it brings roughly 5,000 people a year. So Bigfoot Adventure Weekend, not the one in Estes, but the one I talked about previously, draws roughly 60 people annually, or roughly a little over $15,000 in tourism on just tickets alone.
Okay.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
a lot of money.
That's not nothing. I'm here for it.
So the Mothman. The Mothman Festival commemorates the mysterious Mothman sighting in the 1960s. And though the festival itself is free, it brings in roughly $2 million every year to Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Jesus.
The festival is responsible for the economic boom in Point Pleasant.
I believe that.
So in Point Pleasant, God, it's on my one of my bucket places to go.
Oh, okay.
I want to go so bad. And that's one reason I want to get stationed on the East Coast. Is because then we would be closer, Yeah. And it's easier to plan a trip a couple states away when you're closer than it is, having to fly across the country or whatever.
That's fair.
I have a funny story to tell you about Mothman while we're here. It's not about tourism at all.
Oh, good.
So Mothman accidentally became part of my wedding.
Excuse me?
I don't think I've told you this story.
No.
Mothman was an accidental part of my wedding. He's in my wedding pictures. I'm not even shitting you right now.
I need visuals.
We'll plop them up on the video too. So the person who officiated my wedding knew I loved Mothman, right? Mm-hmm. And they had asked me one of the ways how I knew Jake was my person, right? And I was like, oh, he definitely lets me love weird shit. Like the Mothman, and he doesn't look at me like I'm crazy or whatever when I like a thing that's weird, right?
Okay.
And so I had made a joke at some point about being like, I never want to have a threesome, but if I do have a threesome, it'll be with my husband and the Mothman. Right? I made some joke. Keep in mind, I was probably 19 when I made the joke. I got married when I was 2 months after I turned 20. I was freshly 20 years old when I got married.
Okay.
People thought I was crazy for that. So I made a joke to the person who officiated my wedding about it. And they are a person in my life that goes way back to when I was I think I met them when I was 13 or 14. Mm-hmm. So, they had written a thing to say at the wedding instead of like actually officiating because we didn't want any of that kind of stuff. And so they had mentioned the threesome with Mothman in their thing, and they had I think it's crocheted. Oh God, it's so bad. It's so silly. A Mothman plushie for me that I had at my wedding, and there's so many pictures. It got put up on the mantelpiece that I got married in front of, and nobody noticed it, so nobody took it down. And so it's like looming in the back of all of my pictures. And it's truly one of the best parts of my wedding because it was just so random.
You got fucking Mothman photobombing.
Photobombing most of my pictures. Like, if somebody wasn't tall enough to be standing in front of him, he was there. We'll throw some pictures up of my kind of, I don't want to say sad, because it wasn't sad. It was tiny. It was like, I had a COVID wedding.
Yeah.
So we'll throw some pictures up of my COVID wedding, and, but yeah, so we'll throw so Mothman was a part of my wedding, and it's so funny to me that just, like, exists in the world. But even, like, have you ever gotten, like, when you did your research for this, did you get on any social media and just, like, type in a hashtag of any specific?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Should I have?
Just for posterity, we're gonna pick one. What should we pick?
Like, what social media
Yeah.
site? I don't know. What social media site do you think of first when you think of a hashtag?
Tumblr.
There you go.
I'm just picking Tumblr because it's right here.
Okay.
In my, hey, you visit this often enough. It's freaking bats. I love Halloween. Sorry, that's the first thing that got open. So if I go over here and I type in Mothman, there are.
Listen, okay, so you are picking from a very specific pool that thrives off of Mothman, and you're gonna pick Mothman of all things.
Okay, well, give me a cryptid. Like the Nightcrawler. What do you want? The Jersey Devil.
I don't know. Pick one that's just not very common.
That's gonna bring up the X-Man.
So maybe not that one.
Yeah. The Jersey Devil. That one's common enough, but uncommon enough. Oh yeah. Okay. So are you gonna show me? How it won't. It's not gonna show me like how many there are. But look, I can just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And it's the Jersey Devil, man. Some people talking about their encounters with the Jersey Devil, and like it just Pinterest might be a good one too.
There you go. Pinterest seems like a place that cryptids would not live as easily.
Ponterset is what I typed in. I didn't mean to.
Ponterset.
Ponterset.com.
That's a lot of charts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of charts.
Yep.
Okay, so
it's a popular thing. It's a really popular thing. And as, like, weird as it might seem, you know, it's very popular.
Okay.
So, I know we're only, like, 25 minutes into this episode, but I have a closer for you.
Oh, good. Hit me.
Well, the science behind cryptids is spotty. There's one thing that can be said for sure. The lure of cryptids has has caused an influx of money and tourism in small towns, mountain towns, and places that were once forgotten. Mothman, Bigfoot, and the Loch Ness Monster have single-handedly put towns back on the map, and I must say that's pretty damn cool. So believe what you want about a cryptid, if it exists, Bigfoot, whatever. But I think even if it's something as silly as a made-up or fantastical creature, if that's helping small mountain towns exist, I'm all for it.
Yeah, because
I'm all for...
It all comes down to people can like a thing, and they should be allowed to like a thing, and if that is, no matter what it is, that can benefit a town.
Yeah.
No, like, you don't like Harry Potter,
No.
but that is a huge fan base that has made a lot of money off of
Billions,
random
probably.
people. But it has gone towards local places, not just J.K. Rowling's pocket.
Exactly.
So that's just an example, but like people can like a thing and then it can benefit more than just those people.
Yes.
And that's good. That's a net positive.
Do you have a favorite cryptid?
No, because I don't like cryptids.
Well, if y'all have a favorite cryptid, feel free to send us a comment, leave a comment. If you're listening to this on Spotify, hit us up in our text us button on Spotify. You can find it. You can leave a comment there as well. We'd love to hear from you. What do you think about cryptids? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you have a local cryptid where you're from? Do you have a cryptid experience? Let us know. You know where the button is.
Yeah. Push them.
Push them.
Push them. Push every button.
Push them. Push the button to have a beer with Bigfoot. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.